Hey everybody, how we doing? John Anthony, ChairShot Sports. Thank you so much for joining us for a special presentation outside of our usual weekly antics that we have on a day-to-day basis. I'm joined by none other than Jessy B, Princess Skywalker, my co-host and her co-host on a
We're
day
just, like I
basis.
said, we're tag team partners in this YouTube gig.
We need to have tag team titles. It needs to happen.
We do, but I looked at them and holy fuck, they're expensive.
Yeah, well, maybe we should start putting our Venmos up and our Cash Apps. Maybe someone will hit us up. Maybe we start a Patreon. I don't know. Maybe that's the next step.
Right? Buy us tag team belts.
Please.
But I want the women's one.
No, you can't. No, you can't do that. If you can't, like Matt Cardona, when Chelsea was champion, he didn't have the men's. He had the women. He was one half of the women's tag team champion. You can't just do that. Like that's not cool. Like that's
okay.
Not, okay, don't be weird.
Okay.
Don't be taking it all for yourself. That's fucking weird. Anyway.
It's not weird. It's me.
So obviously, anyway, when you see myself and you see Jess, you see us talking about AEW, WWE, and other big promotions. But I think a lot has been lost on the blood of wrestling that filters into the big promotions of WWE and AEW, and that would be indie wrestling, independent wrestling. Men and women day in and day out across this country, across the globe, that are just doing things and doing their passion and wrestling just for the hell of it, for people that show up and pay for a ticket to watch them wrestle. So I've gone out and I've talked to men, I've talked to several women, and I want to bring them in. I want to talk to them and kind of what their experiences are, how they're going through things, and what their comeuppance are to get to the big leagues, which is obviously AEW, WWE, and getting signed to a major promotion. Obviously, you and me have talked to several folks, JTP, TJP. Sorry, it's been a long day. And Fuego as well. Obviously, started out humble beginnings on the indie circuit, making their way, getting signed. So I have a great guest tonight. She's not here yet. Adri, the Big Daddy. She's amazing. She does a lot of great things. She's in NWA. She's also in Bell to Bell as well. So I'm excited for her to come on. She's not here yet. She's doing some big things in the independent circuit. So I figured obviously I'd have you on. We can talk about a couple of things that she has going on, and kind of where her compass is heading, hopefully toward WWE or AEW. So we have a couple minutes till she joins us. So, but yeah, what are your thoughts as far as obviously you and me follow WWE and AEW. Do you watch a lot of independent wrestling? Have you seen anything really obviously you're on the other side of the country too, West out in California, Arizona, Washington, those guys have a lot of independent federations. Have you watched anything or seen anything as far as indies or things like that?
I really haven't, to be honest, and it's partially because Colorado's not a big state for it. Fuego just wrestled here last weekend, and that actually sold out. I was gonna go to that, but the tickets sold out, so I didn't get a chance to go. But that's the first time, and the only reason I knew it was here is because Fuego put it up on X. Other than that, I don't really know what kind of independent circuits are in Colorado.
Yeah, see, I think that's the biggest thing. I think indies are so lost nowadays. And again, I'm not saying you need to go buy a $15 ticket and go down to your local stadium or your local arena and watch. But these guys, there's some people out there that are doing amazing things. And that's why I want to do this series. I want to bring people on here and, men and women who are just out here busting their ass and busting their hump and just doing amazing things and trying to get, if you're not WWE, you're not AEW, you're not part of the WWE ID program, you're kind of just out here just wrestling, obviously, because it's your passion. It's what you love.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, even out here on the East Coast, I mean, right here in Worcester at the One Eagle, I mean, Dijak is here, I want to see twice a month. Out here wrestling at different promotions and things like that. GCW is one step below an independent, where a lot of people just kind of flock to that federation and they wrestle there and get on that card so people can see them. So, I mean, I think it's a big deal. I think if the Indies are to be lost, I know you have NXT and you have other feeder systems for the other federations. I feel like without them, you start losing talent in wrestling because it's people who just kind of do it day in day out, and someone goes, "Hey, that guy's really cool," and then somebody talks to somebody, and then they get a contract. So
right, people doing it, as a passion, only getting paid a couple $100, just because it's something that they love and it's something that they love to do.
no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, yeah, God bless. But with all that being said, I want to start this series off, and I want to welcome our first guest, the Big Daddy, Adri, to the stage. Thank you so much. How are we doing, honey? Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm good, and yourself?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad we finally figured this out. I know we had to move a couple dates, so thank you so much for being flexible. I'm sure you have a lot of things going on, so thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well.
Awesome. So I know it's a little late in the year, but how has your 2025 been so far? Starting off the new year, how's everything been?
Wrestling wise, pretty it's been hit or miss. The school that I go to, we're kind of reconstructing everything under new management, making new plans. So kind of busy with that. But then haven't wrestled at all this year yet. I have a show this weekend. So that will basically be my first show of the year.
Awesome. And we were just talking about that a little bit with the bell to bell. We'll talk about that a little bit after before we get out of here. So obviously I was saying before you jumped in, I was talking to Jess and I was talking to everybody else. So, we talk about WWE, we talk about AEW a lot, and the big promotions and the big guys, obviously the big heavy hitters. I think independent wrestling, indie wrestling, for those that watch wrestling, is the lifeblood of wrestling. And without that, I feel like you really can't keep going in a positive direction. When did you get started out? Like, when did you find out that you were like, wow, this is really what I want to do? When did you kind of realize wrestling was your passion and this is something you wanted to fulfill and kind of chase?
So my friend had brought me to a show. It was back in 2016. And it was at what was the first show that I went to? I think it was PPW. They run maybe once a year here in Delaware. And then at first I thought it was cool to go to the shows, meet all the wrestlers and all that. But then something just kept on growing inside of me. It was like, I say it's like a tumor. Like you just don't know it's there until the symptoms start happening. So then in 2017, that's when I decided, okay, this is something I really want to do. And that's when I started training. And then I was a valet under Mr. Grimm. So he kind of helped me get my foot in the door when it came to wrestling.
Awesome. So you've done the single stuff. You've been a valet. What do you prefer one to the other? Like, obviously, what are some of the cool things about being a valet as opposed to being a singles wrestler? Like, what are some of the cool things you can do either or, being in either of those roles?
Being a valet, I don't have to do anything.
Nice.
Just get to stand there and look pretty.
Look pretty. That's it.
All I gotta know is my spot. If I'm choking somebody or whatever, that's all I gotta know. I don't have to call a match. But I think also the best part of being a wrestler is just the crowd interaction. Being able to create something beautiful with my opponent. Like I heard from my trainer, he always says it's like a dance. Pro wrestling is a dance. So that's a cool part of being a wrestler and valet.
Yeah, and being a valet, you don't really get to do quite as much as you get to do as a wrestler also because you don't quite have as much creativity, right?
Yes and no. I mean, with a lot of valets, they kind of I'm trying to think who I can use. Lana. Was her name Lana?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lana. She made a career out of it. She tried to be a wrestler, but she was better suited as a valet. A lot of people, they don't really take managers. that seriously. But if you see like Lana or Paul Heyman, you can really make something out of it.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, Lana was not great in the ring at all,
No.
but she
No,
was
unfortunately, no. She tried, man. She definitely
tried,
tried.
really
but
did.
No.
I'll give
she
her
really
credit.
tried. But she was awesome as a
I was
valet.
like,
I mean, she had that perfect personality to
Yes.
be a valet, and it just worked for her.
yeah,
Shout out to
No.
her. She just had surgery, so
she did. She did. So all
You
the
know,
well
shout
wishes,
out to
hopefully a
her, you
speedy
know.
recovery. Hope she's back
Speedy
up and
recovery
running
for you.
soon. Absolutely. So obviously, like starting out and getting into the business, and learning things as a singles competitor, you know, you learn a lot of things. You learn the bumps, you learn everything else. Yeah. What are the biggest things as far as like protecting yourself in the ring and wrestling? Like some of the biggest things you want to look out for, like when you're first starting out and obviously getting into matches.
That's a good question. I would say who your opponent is. One of the biggest things is knowing who your opponent is, what their wrestling style is, and their experience. I do like whenever I wrestle somebody, especially somebody new, I like to look at their matches to see if there's anything that I should keep on the lookout with, what their style is, if there may be some things that are concerning, so then we can kind of work around that.
Mhm.
And I think that's like the biggest thing is just knowing who your opponent is and if there's any things to be concerned about.
Right. If you see anything on tape that, any like botches or, just improper move sets, things like that.
Yeah, anything that I would see is like unsafe.
Mhm.
Whether they were, and like we all have like our moments where we mess up. But if it's like a repeated thing, then I'm like, okay, let me notate this. And you're trying to pull me up for like a power bomb, and you dropping me on my neck or something, then yeah, we're definitely not doing that.
Yeah. I think we're going to eliminate that from the move set for this match.
Yeah, you're gonna do something else.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Now, as you've done these kind of things and you see those kind of things, is that something you talk about in the back, like in Gorilla, like backstage before you guys like get out in the ring, or is that something you address like with your opponent, knowing you guys are gonna like get together, like and touch each other in the ring? Like, is that like, hey, listen, kind of not comfortable with this, let's kind of do this? Is that something you kind of talk about, or is that kind of something you just know to stay away from, or is that how do you handle that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I like to keep good communication. I think it's just better because you know how like a lot of what I've noticed in this business is let's say if I had a match with somebody and there was something that concerned my opponent and I asked them like every match I have, did you feel safe? How did this feel? And if you tell me, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, everything felt great. But then you go ahead and you tell somebody else, oh yeah, the way Adriana, she like kind of stiffed me a little bit. I don't like that. So I like to give that common courtesy to my opponent, like, hey, I noticed I was like watching your match and I just want to know, like, is this how you were taught? Is there a way that we can work around it? Like, I mean, I don't want them to feel bad because we come from different um backgrounds. The way that I train might be completely different than my opponents.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's something I definitely definitely talk with them. And if they don't feel comfortable with something that I do, then I'm not gonna pressure them. I'm not gonna be a bully and tell them, oh well, you got to do this because I want to get my stuff in. It's just like, okay, we can work around this and we can do something else. And then vice versa. I just want that respect as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so communication is key. I mean, you guys have to be open and honest with each other when you're having a match because you're essentially holding each other's livelihoods in your hands.
Right, exactly.
Awesome. So obviously, you've done a lot of stuff in, I believe it's 1CW. You've held a couple titles there.
Yeah, I have
Awesome.
their women's title. Sorry, I'm like coming down with something, so I had like a whole brain freeze.
Don't worry about it.
I was like,
all good. Don't worry
what
about it.
title do I hold again?
Oh, we were live last night, and I totally glitched out trying to give my Twitter handle. So it
He
totally
literally was
happened.
sitting there and goes, "You can find me at." It was like it froze, and I'm like,
All
"Yes,
the
what are you
time.
doing? Like, what do you know your title? Did you Twitter handle? Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, I literally glitched out. It was great.
And we were live streaming, so it was great. It was great. Yeah.
Mhm.
I know you've also wrestled in NWA as well. So obviously, like going on, like, have you been on the road as far as like wrestling with them, going like from place to place with NWA? Have you gone different spaces like that? Like,
Not necessarily yet.
okay,
Hopefully soon. I know like with Philly, it was just like a whole bunch of stuff going on all at once. So I think it's just like, the right place, right time. Um, and I'm hoping for it. But, if that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. It just means something bigger is down the road for me.
Mhm.
yep. And speaking with
Big
that,
believer.
I was going to talk. I was going to say, like, are there any aspirations or any kind of thoughts about? Obviously, we talked about it being on the indie scene. You look up and you see there's a couple big companies up there. There's the kind of a top two, and there's obviously a lot of other ones. Not to get anything with NWA, TNA, anything like that, but you see WWE, you see AEW, the big two ones. Is there any kind of a thought process or kind of like a want or a need to kind of get up to one of those and kind of make a mark and kind of get on there and kind of showcase your talent and show people what you can do?
Yeah, AEW is definitely a big one that I feel more comfortable with. I had the opportunity to be backstage, to be an extra talent. So just the atmosphere of being there. And I mean, I did the same thing for, bigger companies, but just AEW, everybody was so chill. Like you think with these bigger stars, like I saw MJF in Washington, D.C., and he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm like, my man, like
That's what's up. Yeah, there we go.
that's just
Nice. That's what's
how
up.
everybody is. They're just so cool, so chill. And yeah, I think that's something I definitely want to be a part of. Like, yeah, WWE is cool, but AEW, like you just gotta go where your heart is.
Yep.
Mhm. That's what I've heard too, is a lot, is that the vibe backstage is just way different. It's very chill. It's not stressful. It's just everybody's gets along and they do their thing.
Yeah, and the food is good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I've heard the food is good too.
Catering
'Cause I'm
versus
part of
catering.
Heels,
AEW.
I'm pretty sure, like with WWE, how everybody's built there, they probably just give out salads. Whereas like AEW, it's like they got pulled pork, they got ribs, they got mac and cheese.
Yeah, I've heard that their catering is really
Good
good.
AEW. They got charcuterie boards, like charcuterie everywhere. It's just like awesome salad subs. It's awesome.
Yeah, like I don't want no finger foods. I want something like that's gonna put me to sleep.
Right?
Awesome.
It's like me after I work out. I'm like, I want carbs.
Yes.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Give me
Salad?
pasta.
I want some carbs, man. What are we doing here?
I want a big bowl of pasta.
Absolutely. So talking about those companies too, I'm sure you obviously watch wrestling. I'm sure at some point you kind of get to watch either product, the big ones. What are your thoughts on women's wrestling right now? I mean, obviously, when it's come for, I mean, I've been watching this for a long, long time. I've seen the Divas, the Evolution era, now where we are now, where it's women's wrestling. Where are your thoughts right now as far as where women are in wrestling and division wise and all the big companies? Like, how is it looking? And what do you think as far as what the landscape looks like moving forward?
Women's wrestling has come such a long way, where we were just seen as eye candy, and it was like they don't have any talent. They're just a girl dancing around, showing off her girls in a bikini. Whereas now we have so many different styles. We're going toe to toe with men. We're doing street fights, death matches, like stuff that they thought only the men could do. And it's so inspiring. And one person that I really looked up to is Megan Bain, and seeing her
It just debuted.
just debuted on AEW, and that girl is Oh my God. Like, I don't know the words that I can say about her. Just nothing but good things. I saw her do a match with Juicy Finau. And Juicy Finau is a big dude, big Tongan dude. And if she can go toe to toe with
Big.
him, like
Yeah.
it's just women's wrestling is just going nothing. Like the only direction we're going is up from here.
Yeah. There's so much focus on it right now, and there's so much. It seems to be like both companies have put a lot of emphasis underneath the women's divisions. And they're really like with the WWE bringing in 2 new titles for the women, the United States title and the Intercontinental title. I mean, a woman had held the Intercontinental title before, China, but now they have their own. So they're really trying to focus on elevating these women and building them up rather than tearing them down on screen.
Yeah, because
It's nice.
whenever I overheard a fan say this at a show, and it took everything in my power not to, just.
Mm-hmm.
But
Crash out.
yeah, he's like, I was actually like surprised that the women had a good match because women aren't that good. And I'm like, okay, like all right,
Go back to the basement. Thanks for coming
Right.
out. Thank you for taking your one day out of the month. Thank you.
like do the stuff that I do and
Yeah.
come back to me, okay?
Yeah, because sometimes the women have better matches than the men.
Yes.
I agree. 100%.
They have some seriously banging matches, and you're like, wow, like that was insane.
Yeah, and there were like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but there were moments at like 1CW where it was like everybody was ready for my match, and they were just like disregard everybody else. Like, where are you at on the card? I think it was like my first street fight, so they were looking forward to that, and it's a good feeling. It's nothing to tear the guys down or anything, but listen, we own this business now.
Mhm.
I don't think it's
Definitely.
tearing anyone down either. I think like the women deserve a fair shake, man. Like the Hell in a Cells, the street fights, all that stuff, the First Bloods. I mean, Britt Baker's doing it was doing it in AEW, like wild stuff. I think whatever a guy can do, the women can do better, the same if not better. You know what I mean? It's good to see, man. Like,
that Britt Baker Thunder Rosa street fight was insane.
yes, that's what I was referencing.
Yes.
That one
wild.
was insane.
Crazy.
And then Ty Conti or Ty Guevara now, and Anna Jay. I can't remember who they went up against, but that street fight, I think it was Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
I know Ford was in. I can't remember I can't
remember the second person that was in it. It was Bunny. It was the Bunny. Penelope Ford and the Bunny.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember her. She was like a brunette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
her name
came out with her husband. Crap. The Butcher and the Blade. The Butcher and the Blade. She was their ballet.
And I remember her because she used to be at CZW all the time, and I can't remember her name now.
Yeah, she went by Bunny, but I can't remember what her name was. Her name.
And didn't she tag with Penelope too?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they first got into the AEW,
Yep.
yeah.
She did, but that tag team, that street fight that they had was insane too. Those girls were all everywhere. Covered in blood.
I was actually watching. Blood. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
There was blood everywhere.
The Bunny,
I remember I was watching that over again.
Laura Dennis. I don't think that's her actual ring name, but
yeah, it was Bunny something.
Mm-hmm.
Allie.
Allie Bunny? No,
Allie Bunny, maybe. Yeah, wrestles under the names Allie. Yeah, so Allie something. Yeah, so
okay, yeah.
Yep. So you guys were on the right track.
Yeah, but that match was nuts.
So obviously you were an extra in AEW. We talked a little about WWE. So obviously you've been in NWA. You've wrestled down there. You've been on their cards. Like, what is the backstage down there? Like, I don't look at them as like a sub-tier company. I look at them. They have a lot of talent down there. NWA, I feel like, is one of the most underrated companies. I've talked about it before. I tell Jess all the time. I talk about a lot of the people. Like they just need a shot, and they can get on TV and show a lot of people a lot of talent. What are your thoughts as far as backstage NWA? Like, how are they like 2-3 steps away from like blowing up and like kind of getting out there, letting people know what they're doing, what they're about? Because NWA has been on for a long, long time. If like they get out there and kind of get on the map and on TV, they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I know I remember Billy was having a conversation about that. He was like, well, he's like, we have a lot of plans in future. But it was backstage, it was a little more chill than AEW, with AEW's like TV and all of that. So, everybody, you got like a million things going on with AEW. You got people doing promos, you got people doing like some kind of interviews, all that stuff. Whereas NWA is kind of busy, but then also it's kind of like chill. It's just like, all right, everybody be on deck for whatever. But pretty much the same thing. Like, people were nice. The girls' locker room loved it. They were just all good vibes. But I definitely hope that NWA gets the TV credit that they deserve, because the stars that they have on that card, I have this undying love for Natalia Markova. That woman is beautiful. She is so freaking talented. And she's just somebody to learn from. I had learned so much from her, and I watch whenever I get the chance, I watch her matches because I just love how she works.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, and she's so sweet. Just the sweetest person ever.
Yeah, I follow her on X, so I see what she does and the things she posts and stuff, and she's really talented and she's gorgeous.
I love her to death.
But yeah, like doing all this stuff and going on the road and doing a lot of stuff, obviously like wrestling, personal life, kind of getting all this stuff done. Like, how do you kind of compartmentalize and kind of deal with all this stuff mentally, like being a wrestler, having a regular life, like obviously having aspirations to like move for a champion, be wherever you are. Like, how do you just deal with all that and kind of put it all in perspective and kind of deal with it on a day-to-day basis, knowing like you're here, you want to be there, and how do you deal with kind of that journey, how to get to that point on a day-to-day, seeing the big picture?
Oh man, I don't even know half the time.
Maybe it's a lot easier to answer than the question. I don't know.
I don't know, because I'll be like driving home from like a show. I'm like, why the heck do I do this? But I mean, I guess it's just sometimes like whenever you see people that started after you, and people that haven't had the experience like you have, like the opportunities that you want, it can kind of, what is that word? Not really kind of discourages you a little bit, because it's like, all right, I'm putting in all this work, I'm doing the drives, I'm putting in the work. But I think what it is just like, when people come to me and they're like, you really inspired me. And it's just like, they're like, oh, I want to see you on TV one day. You're going to be there one day. I think it's just how people just like touch me, not in like a physical way, but like just.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I see it all the time.
Like,
we talk about these two guys who touch each other. And just
Like, not in a weird way, but
touch me.
Don't touch me for real.
You said you wanted me to touch you. This is the way people touch you.
Please don't.
But it's just like people that I never met a day in my life, and how just encouraging they are. Just seeing like your match really just like, I was in like in a dark place, but how you, whatever your post, whether it's like something off the wall, because I post the most off the wall mess all the time, but it's just like the support, and just knowing and seeing how a lot of people grown. Like, again, like Megan Bain was like another person everybody was saying, why isn't this girl signed? Why isn't this girl signed? Like, she's had the experience, she's done the traveling, and she's talented, she has the look, but she grew even more. And then she waited for her time. She didn't become bitter. she didn't say like, forget this stuff. I don't know where I'm going like this. I'm not going anywhere. She waited and she worked. And that's what keeps me going.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I was when I started doing this. It just, at first, when I started doing it, it was just like, okay, nothing's really happening with it. It's not really going anywhere. But the more you do it, the better you get, the better things go. And now we're doing pretty good. So
we're doing all right for ourselves. I guess like on a personal, I guess like, I go to the gym, I do my thing. I know Jess works out too. Like, you're a specimen, man. You're a baddie. Like, I'm just saying, I've seen the pictures. Like when did you like just start getting to the gym and like, you know what, I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go for weight here. I'm just gonna go nuts and just bulk up. Like you look awesome. Like what is what is kind of like what's your regimen like kind of on a daily basis when you get in the gym? Like what are you doing? Like I hold that up.
So I have a schedule. I have like on my notes in my calendar what I'm doing. Whether it's like push day, pull day. So then I start out, I either try to do like a little bit of cardio to kind of get myself warmed up, stretch, and then I do like the heavy weights. And then I'm not sure if you ever heard of it, the forbidden pre-workout. You ever heard of that? So you think of a time when somebody really screwed you over and that anger just builds up. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
I just use that when I lift. I just use that. I just keep getting trying to just use that when I lift.
Like, I think so before, whenever because I used to be like really big. I was just like, going towards like skinny, but it's nothing against skinny girls or anything. But I'm like, wrestling has enough skinny girls. They need somebody to be able to toss somebody across the ring. So, yeah, that's when, and then also my personal trainer, he's actually a big wrestling fan. So he was like, "Oh no, girl, you got the genetics for it. You're throwing people." So
you can be thick and still rough people up. Listen, man, you don't need to be skinny, man. Listen, I'll almost Nia Jax. Almost like there's a lot of other girls like you can get it done.
But I want to be better than Nia Jax. I gotta have the speed. I gotta have the agility. I'm gonna be I don't know about high flying, but I'm gonna be doing something crazy. But
I love it. We gotta bookmark this interview. We gotta bookmark this interview in 3 years when she's like breaking out. I'm like, I see. We knew it. We talked about it, man. I told you.
I manifested it. Yep.
It's gonna happen.
Awesome. So, out of all the companies, obviously, you watch a lot. You've worked on a lot. What are some of your? I don't want to say idols. Look it up to. Who are some people if you had to? Tomorrow you woke up and someone's like, "Hey, we booked you at X, and you get to wrestle so and so." Give me your top 3 people. Again, not to use the words who you want to touch and get your hands on, as far as the women in this industry. It could be anywhere. Pick a company, doesn't matter. Who are 3 women right now that you kind of want to get in that ring with and throw around and kind of have some fun with?
I definitely want to have a rematch with Natalya. Kinsey Page. And Masha Slamovich.
Yes. Okay. Oh. No, seriously, man. They showed her on NXT the other night. I was like, yes, let's go. Get her in that ring, please. They need more of her on TV. I totally agree. That's yes.
She and I used to pick her up whenever it was like back when she was on the Indies. This was like before COVID. I would pick her up and we would carpool to VPW up in Long Island.
Yep.
So it's just good to, look on TV and be like, hey, I shared the car with that girl. Like, I'm going to be up there with her one day.
Awesome.
It's our mascot. He always has to make an appearance.
Oh, the puppy.
Oh, that's Tank, yeah.
It's Tank this time. It was Luna last time. I have 2 giant German Shepherds.
Oh, really? I have a German Shepherd too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One long hair, one short hair.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love them.
They're like our unofficial official mascot.
Oh,
There he is.
puppy.
Yay!
We have to come
Puppy.
officially
Oh
say
my
hi. Hi, buddy.
goodness. Oh my goodness, so
It's
fluffy.
literally
jealous
on a show basis
when I'm not
every
paying
week.
attention to him.
Oh
Okay,
my
I don't want
goodness.
kisses right now. Thank you.
Just so everyone knows, Tank is a paid actor. Just so everyone knows, he's taking
Yes.
care of. We
Paid actor.
So out of all the folks you talked about, you just mentioned, it's cool. I was hoping you didn't mention anyone from this brand. So I don't know if you have a chance to watch or have heard about or see the roster on NXT, the developmental brand for WWE. What are your thoughts about the women that are down there? Anyone that you've talked to, you've seen, maybe wrestled before, or just what are your thoughts as far as that developmental with that division coming up? Like, what are your thoughts on kind of like how they're doing and what the future holds as far as that brand?
Oh, NXT. I feel like they have a lot of talented women on there. A lot of them come from like a background, not really a background of wrestling. So it's kind of, it's hard to, get behind them sometimes. It's nothing against them, but it's like, I don't know you. So,
Right.
I'm trying to
You got
think.
this based on your looks, not your talents.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, would you want to like, if you had a chance, would you want to jump in the ring like with a, I'm just like a Julia, you know what I mean? Like with that, she's someone who's obviously come from wrestling that not come like outside or been signed from an WWE ID or anything like that, but like Julia kind of who's been around, done their thing, and like someone who kind of knows wrestling. So like that kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. And then I don't know who is Carmelo Hayes' wife. What is her name?
Oh my, how's it? Oh my, she's the first North American Women's Champion.
Yeah. She just popped up on my Facebook friends too.
I can't believe I'm drawing
What's
a
her
blank. I'm
name?
an idiot right now.
I know a face. Like if I saw her, I'll be like, okay, I know who she is.
Kalani?
Kalani, yes.
Yes.
Kalani.
Yes.
I'd like to wrestle her.
She has come so far from when she debuted to what she is, even wrestling last night or a couple nights ago. I'm sorry. Like what she and like the whole like I'm not the little sister anymore. I'm breaking out. I'm doing my thing. She's come so far in her ability on the mic, in the back, and just in the ring. She's a Kalani Parker. No, that's I don't want to fuck it up. Sorry. But yeah, Kalani. But no, I agree. She's done amazing and just talk about someone who's just grown up in the business and just learned and come full circle. She's awesome. Awesome to watch in the ring.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed watching her matches. And I feel like a lot of the women on NXT, they have like the physical abilities to do the things that they do, but I feel like the connection's not really there, like with somebody that comes from like an indie scene and they get into like these bigger companies. Yeah, we kind of have to be rewired to fit that TV standard.
Yeah.
But it's like whenever I watch them work, I'm like, there's like no connection. It just feels, I can't explain it. It doesn't feel like there's any feeling behind it. It's like, okay, this is like the next spot. Whereas if it was like a wrestler, we would know how to like fill in those blanks, show some emotion. Whereas they're like, okay, let me get in this corner. Okay, you're going to hit me with that. All right, let me get up so you can go ahead and pin me. It's just stuff like that.
Choppy.
Yeah.
Not smooth.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, choppy.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that
too. I don't watch NXT often, but I have noticed that too. The times that I have watched it. But I don't watch it very often though. It's just never been my thing.
I had to kind of stop watching it because of that, because I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, fortunately,
I'm more the AEW on the AEW side of this team, and he's more on the other side of the team. So
yeah,
just so you know, I watch all of it. Don't let her like talk to you like I don't watch any of it.
He watches all of it.
God bless my wife. Like 5 days a week, there's wrestling in this house. Like it's just like If it's not WWE on Mondays and Fridays, it's TNA on Thursdays, it's AEW on Wednesdays, and Tuesdays it's something stupid, or NXT on Tuesday. So there you go. So Saturday and Sunday it's PLE usually. So I'm watching something. So
you guys are on a schedule.
But I can agree. No, but I can agree with. I tell Jess all the time. I can agree with that. There's always a disconnection. If you can build somebody up. You can give them a gimmick. You can give them some cool music. You can give them an entrance. That's great. But if you cannot connect with the fans, you have a shelf life. There's not. If there's not, you walk out and you put something in someone to want to see you, then it's cool. You're the flavor of the month. We'll see you in 6 months. We get future endeavored from WWE, or you just end up in catering to AEW. Like same thing over there. You know what I mean? It's just you need to make a statement and need to make yourself known. And that's what I was saying before you came on, like right before you came in. Indies is where it starts. And that's where you that's the baseline, that's the foundation. And I feel like that's kind of gone away because now you have the WWE ID program, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I like them going out and grabbing talent, but for their reasons, whatever, they're grabbing people before everyone else does. But you're kind of taking away the feel of this indie wrestler is hot as hell. We need to have him. And people are trying to get him or her into the business. And now you're just kind of getting somebody, giving him a CFO, theme and trotting them out there and hoping that they pop and everyone loves them. So I totally agree with that, Malik. You need to have a very natural, organic connection with people and the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because whenever you're on the indies, you it's the best place to learn because you're up close with these people. So you know how to react when you can hear somebody trolling you from the crowd and learning how to either tune it out or to, talk back, be a heel. So I think like with how I was picturing it with WWE, they want to get these people that are physically able to do the things that they want you to do. They want a shell and they want to be able to fill it without having to worry about reteaching things. They wanted somebody easy to teach. Whereas like with indies, we already have a gimmick. We already know how to grow our gimmick, how to have different types of gimmicks. And that's why I kind of just thought like with WWE, okay, yeah, it's cool to be there, but they're not really looking for indie wrestlers. They're looking for somebody easy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody that they can mold to what they want.
Yeah. Whereas
rather than letting them be themselves.
Yeah. Whereas like with any indie wrestler, we're able to adapt to anything. Like if you need me to be stupid, I'll be stupid. If you need me to change my gimmick or be a jobber, which is really highly unlikely, I'll do that stuff. We're adaptable. But I think WWE kind of refused to see that. But it's good that they're doing that WWE ID program. So I hope they keep on pulling people from the indies because they have so much good talent out there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some of the guys and the women that they're pulling for the ID program. And my biggest thing is, like you just said, like I've seen some of these folks and I'm hoping that they go in like, hey, be you, but come here. I hope it's not, okay, you're great, but let's kind of dress you down.
Let's repackage you.
Don't do that. Let's not do that. That's very much like, I feel like that's the VKM era. And I feel like with Paul, with Sean, I feel like they kind of respect the indies. They understand what brings people to the table and what people want to see. So I would hope that these guys and these young men and women who are being brought in, hey, this is what you do. Let them do what they do. Clearly, if you recognize them, that's what they do. Don't change. If it's not broke, don't reinvent the wheel. Let them get out there, put them in NXT is what they do, and hopefully it rocks. Like I just really hope that's what they do. So I agree with that. The ID program is great, but don't reinvent the wheel, man.
Yeah, because I think that's like another big thing with like Mercedes Moné. A lot of people were like, well, I don't understand why Tony Khan pushes her so bad. Have you not seen her when she was Sasha Banks? They were like, oh, we'll only see her as Sasha Banks because she was not able to fully express herself. She had to be under what WWE said they wanted to be. Then when she left and started working in Japan, I saw how much she evolved and she was able to do her own style, be herself. And then now in AEW, she's doing nothing but great things. And I mean, people are going to hate anyways, but she got her shot to be able to express herself. And now she has eyes on the women's division in AEW and multiple companies.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mercedes 4 belts, baby.
Yeah.
She's
4
killing
freaking
it.
belts. Like, they wish.
No,
Yeah.
for real, right? But WWE is like one of those things. You go in there, you can be you to a point, and then here's the script. Hit these 15 points. Make sure you can say what you want, but make sure you say these 10 things to hit for the pay-per-view that we have next week, and hit this for your opponent, and someone's coming out in 10 minutes after you cut this. So I get that. It's like it's very AEW seems very more like, hey, say what you want to say, and eventually someone's gonna come out and cut you off. But say what you got to say there. But WWE is very by the line. Make sure you hit all these points, and then we go from there.
Yeah,
They definitely showed the say what you want to say last night. That MJF Jeff Jarrett segment was raw.
Oh, that
That's
man.
the perfect point of what AEW is like. Dude, go look at the WWE. Like Jeff Jarrett and MJF put on a clinic last night as far as promo goes.
Yeah, those two. Oh my goodness.
Did you have a chance to check out the gauntlet match in AEW last night for the women?
I watched a little bit of it with Chris Stratlander.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't get to watch the full thing, but I was watching like a lot of the highlights, and that I definitely have to see if I can watch that because that looked really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good match. It was. I knew Tony was going to win though, just because they're going to Australia.
Yeah, I just called her like 2 weeks ago, but she had the whole Australia thing behind it. But that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it just made sense.
She did call it, so that was good.
Mm.
Awesome. So obviously it's January of 2025. We're just kicking off the year. You have a match I think this weekend, right? Bell to bell. You're going. Awesome. So what's going on with that?
So I have a tag match with Sammy Chaos. Sammy Chaos is a good friend of mine against the Daughters of Darkness with Salem, and I don't know what the other girl's name is, but yeah, it should be really good. Like Sammy's somebody that I really wanted to tag team for a while with. I know I had a match with her at Bell to Bell, and just how we click in the ring, having two strong females throwing chicks across the ring. I think it's going to be a great match. So really excited for it.
Excited for it. That's going to be awesome. We're pumped.
Yeah.
So obviously, aside from that, what are some of your aspirations? We got a long time. We got 11 months left outside of January. What are some things you're looking to accomplish and kind of like put on the mantle? I would say, like as far as when 2025 comes to an end, what are some things you want to accomplish and get done this year?
I would like to do some international travel. I need to get out of the United States. Japan's a big one. Also would like to go back to Germany. I was in Germany a couple years ago. So I'd like to go back there. And then I also have a good friend, and since we were talking about Australia, go out to Australia. But I don't know about, because I saw they got some crazy critters out there, so I don't know.
Man,
No,
the size of them spiders. No, spiders are like this, yo. Like they are no joke out there, and they've got the longest freaking scariest legs ever.
You get the spiders like this big like above your head. You're like, nah, I gotta go. Like,
yeah, they were like, oh, this is normal. No, it's not.
That's
no, it's not normal. None of this is normal. What are you doing?
I heard once that there's one season that's like spider season or something like that, and there's like forests where it's nothing but spider webs freaking everywhere.
If you look online, they'll show like, oh, it's snowing in Australia, and it's like June.
No, it's spider
not
web.
because it's literally spider webs over all the entire forests. You know, they like fall from the sky. It's wild. It's wild stuff. So good luck if you go to Australia. Have fun.
Yeah.
Only reason why I'm gonna go out there is because I want a wallaby. I just want to steal one.
Yeah.
I want
to go hold a wallaby.
You can get that through TSA. You'll be fine.
Kangaroos, but wallabies are cute.
What do you mean it's not a wallaby? It's a cat.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Get out of here. I love it.
That's funny. Yeah, kangaroos are terrifying, but wallabies are adorable.
They're just the cutest thing. We have like a zoo up in Delaware. They have like a little wallaby pasture in there, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna go in here. I'm just gonna break the law. I don't care if I get arrested. I have to have one. They're so cute.
Well, here in Colorado at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo down in Colorado Springs, they have a little wallaby area that you can walk through. And the wallabies are just kind of wild, walking around in there and everything. But you just like walk through it. It's really cool.
Same thing
It's a
here.
very interactive zoo.
Over in New York, they get the same thing with the wallabies. Yep.
So you
Same
can pet the
difference.
wallabies?
And
The
you
Bronx
can't
Zoo,
touch
yep.
them, but you can walk through the areas with them.
Bronx Zoo, you can pet them. There's like a little area
Okay.
you can go over. So yeah, it's
I need to go to the Bronx then, because I really I need a pet one. That's like my
you
dying
gotta,
wish.
you gotta come up. You gotta come up here to the Northeast, man. You gotta wrestle over here, over at the White Eagle in Worcester. You gotta do some stuff up here, man. You gotta come up here.
I'm trying to. I used to wrestle in New York religiously, but
Yes.
I wrestle like at the Mecca in Richfield Park, and New York's literally right across the bridge. I can see New York from there.
Yep.
But I would like to get on a Battle Club. That was one I was looking at. I know the promoter for Victory Pro Wrestling up in where are they at now? I don't even know where they're at now. But there's a couple of promotions that I've reached out to. It's just getting those dates and collaborating with them.
Right. Have you looked at anywhere like maybe like a GCW or anything like that? Kind of like getting involved with something like that, kind of jumping into one of those federations.
I would like to. Also with House of Glory.
The
That's
Glory's
another.
good. Yes.
Yeah. So
Good call.
or We Are Wrestling. They're in the Bronx, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, yeah. I was talking to the promoter about it like last year, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to bring you on," and I never heard anything back. But I mean, it happens. But whenever the time comes, because I love New York, so.
I was born in Brooklyn, so I feel that. Like let's go. Anytime you're up here, if you're in a show around here, I'm gonna be coming out there. Trust and believe that. That's awesome. Like, good to see. Awesome.
I'm in Colorado where they don't do shit for indie wrestling. So
But I like Colorado. It's pretty.
I gotta
up
bring
there.
Jess out here to the Northeast so she can come watch a show if you come up here, so we can all watch.
Yeah.
I know I'll have to plan a trip up there to see my niece and nephew when there's a wrestling show going on, so I can actually go to one up there.
Awesome. Cool. Well, this has been awesome, man. Jess, do you have any other questions?
No, it's been great to meet you, and I really hope that you're successful in the future. And I've watched a few of your matches, and you're really talented. So somebody needs to pick that up and realize that soon.
Thank you so much.
I agree with that 100%. We've been talking for a while. I was like, I need to have you on to start off the indie series. I need to have you, and you came on, so thank you so much. It's been very much appreciated. So this was awesome. I love it.
Thank you so much for having me. Like you guys were my first, really my first wrestling thing of the year. So I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Thank
and
you.
just
Thank you so
being
much.
great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. We'd love to have you on again in the future, and maybe we'll have you on the lowdown, the other show.
Okay.
Yeah, come on her show, AEW. Yeah. Cool. All right, yeah. Whatever.
Where's that? We have good catering, okay?
Well,
They have good catering, John.
Me and Jess literally are on each other's show. Like I'm the co-host of
We
her
just
show.
flip-flop.
She's on my show. Like we flip flop all the.
We're getting tag team belts. That's
Yeah,
what
pretty
we've
much.
Oh,
decided.
We have two other gents that are in the group as well, but like her and me are on TV pretty much 5 days a week. We're doing stuff with Raw, SmackDown, AEW, the whole nine. So awesome. So with that being said, Adriana, for those of you that don't know who you are, that are watching this for the first time, where can we find you on socials and any kind of matches? Obviously, bell to bell. Where can we find you in the upcoming future, and obviously on socials as well?
I had a Jess moment. I forgot.
It happened.
You needed the trademark. I just had a Jess moment. That's great.
What is my Instagram tag? Okay, yeah, it's Big Daddy Adri with 2 eyes on Instagram, and I think it's with 3 eyes on X. And then I'll also stream it on Twitch, same username, or you can look up my Facebook page. It's Adriana Mosley, I think. Yeah. So you can find me there, or on YouTube, Big Daddy Adri. Look me up; you'll find me anywhere. And then, of course, on my Instagram, I always post like where I'm going to be, or same thing with my ex. I'll post any matches. So if you guys are watching, make sure you come see me and don't touch me.
But don't touch me.
Don't talk to me. You see me at school. Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
You see me, but you can't touch.
Get out of here,
Look,
baby.
you can look, but you can't touch,
Touch.
right?
Don't touch the merchandise, baby. Listen, no.
Bring me some tacos.
Taco
Brie-
Tuesday.
Nikki
Yeah,
Bella's intro for a while. You can look, but you can't touch.
that's it.
Was that the Bella's intro?
Awesome.
I can't believe I
Well, thank
remember
you
that.
so much, guys. If anyone watching this right now, if you're not following this, go follow this young lady, the up and coming Big Daddy. I'm telling you right now, next time she's on this show, we're gonna be the little people. She can be talking to us, highlighting a lot of other shows with 3 letters in their name. So awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. So for myself, Jess, you can find us anywhere at ChairShot Sports and also at ChairShot Media 1 as well. Cool. So thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, guys. Thank you. This has been fun.
Thank you.
And you will definitely be on the show down the road sometime later this year. And I feel like it's going to be with a lot of big and better things going on. So I'm excited for it.
Likewise.
Absolutely.
Awesome,
Thank
for
you.
John Anthony, for Jess, thank you so much, guys. We will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.